one. Holy Toledo. Voters' views of the Democrats in Congress among all voters disapprove, 68%. And look at the approve number, just 21%.
Ever since January 20th, 2025, it has seemed like the Democrats as a party have just been lost. They have no clear leader. They have no clear message. And they're just all over the place. They don't know what to talk about besides just doing everything opposite of Donald Trump. That's their one clear message they have. Opposite of Donald Trump. Nothing else. Donald Trump wants to help people. They want to hurt people. That's basically what they're at right now. And they have the lowest approval rating ever. And it really makes you wonder who is really the leader of the Democratic Party and who is the front runner to be the candidate in 2028 when the next election happens. Republican side, it's more than likely going to be J.D. Vance. And 3 years away, it's a long time. Anything could happen. But he is definitely the front runner. I know people say Donald Trump third term. Donald Trump's not going to run a third term. If Donald Trump ever even tried to do that, he would ruin the Republican Party for decades. That would be the dumbest thing he could ever do. I love Trump as a president. That would be so stupid if he did that. So I don't see that happening. J.D. Vance more than likely. But who's the Democrat candidate going to be? We're going to get into that in this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below what you think of everything going on in the political world and who you think will be the Democrat frontrunner in 2028. Thank you. So right now, the Democrat Party has the lowest approval rating ever, like they've ever had. 21% among all voters.
Holy Toledo. Voters' views of the Democrats in Congress among all voters disapprove, 68%. And look at the approve number, just 21%, even lower than the Democratic Party at large. This is the lowest on record for Democrats, according to Quinnipiac University polling. You think these numbers are bad? Let's go to this side of the screen. We'll look how Democratic voters feel. Get this. The plurality of Democratic voters disapprove of Democrats in Congress at 49%, and just 40% approve. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Like he said, horrible. That is not a good look there. 40% approval rating your own party, 21% approval rating overall. I remember a week ago they hit 27%. I didn't think it could really get much lower than that. I was proven wrong. Congrats, Democrats. And like I said earlier, they don't have a clear message. They don't have a clear leader. They don't have really anything going on. Like the Republican Party, even when they weren't in power, they still had a somewhat of a message. You know, they had the whole pandemic going on, which kind of pushed everything to the side. Once 2022, 2023 hit, you knew Trump was the leader. Trump was still the big vocal point. You still had other people in the party, like DeSantis was still a big name, holding weight. You had these big name people. Democrats, you're kind of just all over the place. And I get 3 years is a long way to go, but let's see who potentially could be the frontrunners. So this is a poll conducted. I don't know when this is conducted, but so it looks like Kamala Harris still the front runner. I don't see that happening. I think if she actually did want to run in 2028, I think she would get pulverized by her own party. I think that's why they didn't have a primary, mainly because of that. Yeah, so she's number one right now, 36%. Pete Buttigieg at 10. AOC 5, Tim Walz 5, Gavin 5, Mark Cuban 4, Josh Shapiro 4, so on and so forth. So all the usual names. This could really go any direction. So let's start with Kamala Harris. There was a report that came out that Barack Obama was working against Kamala Harris behind the 2024 scenes of the presidency because he did not think she could win. So this is why the endorsement, I don't know if you guys noticed, came kind of late. So the whole thing, obviously, bunch of weird stuff. People say Biden's signature on his resignation, whatever it was that he posted on Twitter, didn't match all of his other signatures. Weird. The fact that he announced it on Twitter, not in person, and then didn't come out in person for like weeks later. Weird. The fact that Kamala came out of nowhere, was like, I'm the party now, even though they're the party that believes in democracy. They didn't give any other people a chance to vote on who their candidate was. Weird. Yeah, no, so now there's more detail saying Barack Obama wanted to have an open primary to have a different candidate in there, but it did not happen. Weird. So, yeah, so I just seeing this, Barack Obama's probably going to have some amount of decent say in 2028 because he's still a prominent Democrat. He still is involved for whatever reason. Personally, I feel like If I was president for 8 years, I would take more of the George Bush approach and just kind of keep to myself, go to my house, chill, hide from the public until I'm dead, personally. But, there's some people that just still want to cling on to power. So let's talk about the biggest name in the news right now, Cory Booker. Cory Booker spoke for 25 hours straight. They're calling it a filibuster. It wasn't really a filibuster because he wasn't holding off a vote for a bill. It was just kind of just like a anti-Trump thing. In reality, he did this because he wants to be president. He's basically doing this to kind of get attention, throw his name in there. But this is working with the Democrats. Democrats loved what he did. They're praising him. He's like a hero to them. Might sound kind of stupid to some of us, but it did work. What he did worked. And speaking of 25 hours, I mean, no matter what you're talking about, not many people can do that. So I will give him props for that. Don't like him. Don't think he's done really anything good for Jersey. But, I'll give him credit for that. So he's probably the biggest name right now. He was polling at, where's he at? Why am I not finding him on here? Right here, 3%. So that's probably going to go up as of right now. You have Jasmine Crockett, who has been all over the news lately. So let me show you one of her more infamous videos. This is from Laura Loomer. I think this is one of her reporters.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Wait, Congresswoman Crockett.
But it sounds...
Congresswoman Crockett, you were recently on a Tesla takedown call calling for violence on the 29th.
Right?
Would you like to clarify your comments?
As you can see.
Congresswoman, will you condone violence at the Tesla?
Yeah, that wasn't a good look for her. I don't think it mattered because I don't think Democrats care about stuff like that. This is also something, I don't want to play the sound because it's a Kendrick Lamar song. I don't know about copyright, but she basically, the whole video, she did like this dance going to Kendrick's Not Like Us. This was from like a few weeks ago, trying to reach out to the youth, I'm assuming. This was shortly after Kendrick performed at the Super Bowl. So it's trying to stay relevant in that manner. I don't think she's on this list. So yeah, that's a new one. She's not on here at all, but she's definitely been everywhere. You have Tim Walz, who obviously ran for VP. He's at 5%. He was VP, Kamala Harris's VP. He's been very active everywhere. This is him
saying on my phone, I don't know if some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So, and if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off,
And it's funny because like a day or two after this, it was realized that Minnesota state pension relies heavily on Tesla stock. So that's been hurting everyone's pensions in his state, and he was mocking it. Not a good look. Probably doesn't matter because Democrats don't care about this stuff. And shortly after this, Elon Musk's SpaceX company saved the astronauts from space. And it's funny because all last year...
just telling you.
Oh, whoops.
Saying on my phone.
All last year, all the media said was, these astronauts are stranded. Astronauts are stranded. Boeing's space shuttle messed up. NASA can't get them. Then, right when SpaceX said, we can get them, all of a sudden, they were never stranded. No, they stayed up there. They were doing their mission. They were meant to be up there for 8 months. No, they were meant to be up there for 8 days. The media is trying to change it and gaslight everyone because it was Elon Musk's company that saved them. So that's frustrating. But it's shortly after that happened. So Tim Walz, I personally don't think him as a serious candidate. Democrats like him for whatever reason. He seems to go against his own people just for to look good in the public. Obviously, you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's always out there. She's third. I think she will be old enough to run for president in 2028. She's always talking. She's always the loudest in the room, but she doesn't really say a whole lot. And the thing is with her is I don't think she can really pull in the moderate Democrats. Like she's good with like the far left and like the younger crowd and everything like that, but she can't pull the moderates that are going to actually be wanting to vote, like independents, stuff like that. So if they actually picked her as a candidate, I think that'd be a huge mistake. But you never know. Anything could happen. 3 years is a long time. And someone else who probably, I can't imagine this man running, but Bernie Sanders has been out there a lot too. I think he would be like 86 years old by the time the presidency would happen. But he says things like this: instead of stealing Greenland from Denmark, let's steal some of their policies. Healthcare and college are free. The starting wage is $22 an hour. Paid paternal leave is 1 year. Paid vacation is 6 weeks. All workers get pensions. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is easily attainable when you keep your tax dollars and you have America defending you. That's what happens. Denmark relies heavily on America's military for protection, just like all of Europe does. This is what people like Bernie don't talk about. The reason why Russia isn't a threat to them like they think they are is because of the United States. They're all part of NATO, which 70% of the funding comes from the United States. If Russia or any other country was to invade one of them, it would be American troops there defending them. We have all these military bases throughout all of Europe. And that's what they don't talk about. We defend them. They don't have to pay for defense. I'm sure they have a couple, military police, stuff like that. They don't pay for a lot when it comes to that. That's why they can afford this stuff. Also, you talk about healthcare, free healthcare. Their government doesn't poison them like they do with us. Their food companies don't poison them like they do with us. So that's a lot easier when your population already isn't unhealthy, So yeah, so this is a lot of stuff's impractical. He's like an AOC, or AOC, I guess, like her, because he's been out first. And it's funny because the party will get behind Bernie when it's needed, but like they did right after Trump got elected. But right when, like in 2016 and 2020, when he started building momentum, they threw him to the side for Hillary, for Joe Biden. He still sucks up to the Democrats when they've tossed him to the side when they don't need him anymore. He's a sellout, honestly. He's fake. He has all these views, but it's not real, or else he wouldn't be sucking up with the Democrats. A few other people on this list. You got like Pete Buttigieg, people love for whatever reason. He literally was a mayor of like the 4th biggest town in Indiana, and all of a sudden he's like this hot shot for president. Gavin Newsom started his own podcast, pissed off a lot of his own people. So I don't know, just having people like Charlie Kirk on made his own fan base mad. I'm sure he definitely will run. I don't know if he's going to get far. Mark Cuban, I don't think he's going to run. Josh Shapiro is an interesting one. I think he's probably the most moderate on this list, so that could help. You got people, Gretchen Whitmer, I don't see it happening. J.B. Pritzker, he's been a little loud lately. John Fetterman. Wes Moore, I live in Maryland. Don't vote Wes Moore in ever. He destroyed our state, and he continues to destroy it every day. Horrible candidate. Yeah, so a lot of these others I just don't see happening. He'll probably be one of these people up top here. If I had to pick right now who I think will be their candidate or smartest decision would be Josh Shapiro. If they want to actually win an election, Josh Shapiro is the one to pick. And we'll see what happens, because he should have been Kamala's VP, and I think that would have helped her a lot if he was. But, people say it's because he's Jewish. That's why he wasn't picked. I mean, she's probably trying to appease her far left crowd, the Palestine people. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on who you think the next Democrat nominee will be in 2020, who you guys think the Democrat leaders are, and what you guys think about everything going with like Cory Booker, Bernie, all these Democrats basically trying to get loud to basically toss their hat into the ring for 2028. And let me know what you think about it. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll catch you next time.